I just love French meringues.
These are delicious.
Hi, I'm Rachel.
And I'm Eric.
And we gotta eat them all. So today we are cooking with Jigglypuff.
We're creating edible items out of Jigglypuff.
Right. So Jigglypuff is the balloon Pokemon, which means there's really not a lot of meat there.
No, they're basically a big bag of air. They can sing for 3 hours straight.
And if they do manage to sing for that whole 3 hours, they deflate completely flat. So there's really nothing there.
No, nothing to eat.
But there is a subcutaneous gelatinous layer. And our theory is that this, as well as helping them absorb shock, also helps them hold air.
And we're going to put that theory to the test. For our first experiment, we're going to be making a whiskey sour. And ordinarily, you make it with eggs, but today we're going to be making it with Jigglypuff stuff. So, hopefully it froths up the same way. We'll find out soon. Put in some whiskey.
We're using a bourbon. You can use any kind of whiskey that you like. It's all personal preference.
Yep. The recipe that we're using actually calls for quite a bit of simple syrup. We cut that in half. We don't like it so sweet.
Also, we make our own simple syrup, which is why it's darker than what you might find in the grocery store with the clear stuff. Ours is made with turbinado sugar.
Mm-hmm. And then some lemon juice, again, to your preference. And we want to shake this up for about 5 seconds, and hopefully it gets frothy.
You know, Jigglypuff's attacks usually put you to sleep. Should we be worried about this knocking us out?
Jigglypuff sings, though, to put people to sleep. This should be safe.
All right.
All right. Hey!
That's pretty frothy.
It did froth up. So that's actually a really good sign. Okay, so next step is we need to chill this guy. So we're going to put some ice in there. You want to shake this for at least 15 seconds or until you can't feel your fingers anymore. You want it nice and chilled. That is almost unbearably cold. So we're going to pop the top and pour these out. Nice and foamy. Love it. And then we just need a few finishing touches. A little bit of Angostura bitters. 1 Luxardo cherry each. And these are ready to drink. You want that one?
I do want that one.
Mmm.
Perfect.
Delicious.
Now that we know that it actually will froth, we're going to try another experiment and try to make some French meringues out of it and see just how much air we can get into that Jigglypuff stuff. So I love French meringues. I'm going to try to do that with this Jigglypuff. What did we decide? Jigglypuff stuff?
Jigglypuff stuff.
All right. So we're going to see if it will hold enough air to make a French meringue. So we're going to start with our Jigglypuff stuff and pour that into our stand mixer here. Get that locked and go ahead and put this up to a medium speed. So while this is beating, we're going to go ahead and add some cream of tartar. Even with egg whites, it really helps it hold its shape once it starts taking on air. And then we're going to add just a little bit of vanilla extract for the extra flavor. Our Jigglypuff stuff has started to foam up a little bit. We're going to go ahead and add some sugar. So you just want to add a little bit at a time, and it will help give it something to hold on to and start to form up. So let's see if that starts coming together. So we're about at the soft peak stage. So that's where your mixture will kind of hold a shape, but it will eventually slump back down into the bowl. So we're going to go ahead and bump up the speed of our mixer until we hit a firm peak stage. And that's where it's going to hold its shape perfectly. This is taking longer than I would usually expect with traditional egg whites. I don't know why that is. Maybe because it just doesn't work quite as well.
Who knows?
So we have finally hit a stiff peak stage. You can see when I hold this up, that peak holds its shape.
Cool.
Yeah. So there's lots of air in here. So that Jigglypuff stuff really seemed to hold up and fill a piping bag with our meringue mixture. You don't want to fill it too much because it will kind of slide out the back side as you're piping these. And it is very, very sticky. You also want to be really careful when you're moving this into the piping bag. You don't want to knock a bunch of air out of it. So be just kind of gentle with it. So you want a small hole in your end. If you have like a star tip or something, you can use that. But if you just cut a little hole in there and then just push down and pull up to make a kiss. Looks like a little Hershey's Kiss, right?
Yeah, it does. Looks good. Well, that came together great. So is it better or worse than the egg whites then?
I guess we'll see how they actually bake up and what they taste like when they're done. They shouldn't spread out like cookies might. You can put them pretty close together. They're not gonna end up baking into each other. So these go into the oven at a pretty low temperature, 215 degrees. So let's get them in the oven and give them about an hour, hour and a half and see how they turn out. So our meringues have been in the oven for just over an hour now. We're gonna go ahead and check on them. Best way to know whether or not your meringues are done is if they peel off the paper easily. So we're just gonna kind of, yep, pop right off. But we don't take them out. You wanna turn off your oven and just prop the door open. I like to stick a wooden spoon in there so I can kind of shut it and it helps so the light goes off. And let that fully cool off before we take them out. It prevents cracking on your meringues. So we'll check them in a couple hours. These have fully cooled down in our oven and they look great. We have a little bit of cracking. Let's see how they taste. I love how they're just so light and airy. They feel like nothing.
They do.
Crispy, crunchy on the outside, nice and chewy and light on the inside. I just love French meringues.
These are delicious. These are, yeah, light and fluffy and crispy at the same time.
So Jigglypuff stuff definitely works as a substitute for egg whites. It definitely holds air. So give it a try and join us next time when we're going to be cooking Zubat.
That should be interesting.
I'm a little nervous about it, but I think we'll make it work.
Okay. Like and subscribe.
Nom nom. Nom nom nom.